Come on, Jerry Lane. You don't make a call like that. That's what they pay you for. It's to see whether the ball is fair or it's foul, and it was foul. And at 12:51 Tuesday morning, you don't make a call like that. Ben Davis, Michael Barkan, and this is Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. 9-8 Arizona. I tried the reverse jinx. I wrote the Phillies had lost before they actually did, hoping it would help, and it didn't help. But Ben, when you look at that, you can't make a call like that. Just for the juice factor, man. The juice that runs out of Cody Clemens after running around the bases, thinking he had the go-ahead home run, and then poof, it all just fizzles, and that's what happened. Not blaming Cody Clemens. I'm blaming first base umpire Jerry Lane.
Yeah, very anticlimactic, obviously. He thought he had a potential game winner there, and two-run home run there for Cody Clemens did not end up being that way. It hit the side of the fence. From our angle, it did look like it hit just the outside of that fair pole and went into the Phillies bullpen, but it wasn't to be, and the Phillies end up 2 games below 500 again. Yeah,
let's 32 and 34. Let's go out to Arizona, check in with Ruben Amaro Jr. Call tonight's game with Tom McCarthy at Chase Field. Ruben, thanks for being with us. The tough one here is the 7 Arizona runs scored with 2 outs. That really hurts you, to say the least. If only a couple of those had been thwarted, the Phillies win this game.
Yeah, they didn't really get the pitching that they wanted. I mean, obviously, Strom struggled a little bit. He's, getting another opportunity. He's switched around a couple of different roles, but he by and large has done a really good job for the Phillies this year. But now he's kind of bouncing back and forth. And really, the middle relievers just couldn't hold these guys down. And unfortunately, there's way too many 2-strike hits that happen. Not just 2-out hits, but 2-strike hits. And in some regard, you have to give the D-backs a little credit for staying in the at-bats and battling. But at the same time, you just got to try to get out somewhere. And, when you don't have a 5th starter, it makes it really tough. I mean, it makes, it means that you have to have a lot of depth in your pitching staff. And the guys just couldn't get it done today.
Yeah, they'd have to see past this and realize that they have to go out and get somebody, somewhere, somehow, because they just can't keep doing this every 5th day to themselves.
Yeah, and you hope that somebody can step up internally so that you don't have to necessarily make a move, because everybody in the world is looking for starting pitching. I mean, there's so many contending teams now, like nobody's out of it. There's only like maybe 3 or 4 teams in all of baseball are like completely out of the race. And so it's going to be awfully difficult to try to acquire somebody from outside the organization. And you just hope that somebody can step forward, whether it's, Bailey Falter perhaps coming back, whoever it may be. But it's really tough to not have a 5th starter, and that's the position that they're in right now. And the Phillies aren't alone. There's a lot of teams out there looking for starting pitching depth, and it's a problem.
Saw it with the Dodgers just over the past couple of days. I mean, right?
Yeah, Dodgers, the Mets. I mean, there's all types of teams that are struggling to find like a 5th starter out there, and it's again, you'd love to be able to have all 5 of them, but with the way the game is now, I mean, there's a sort of a dearth of starting pitching out there, and the pitch timer, whatever the case may be, I don't know. Guys going down, whatever drive line, whoever it is, it's at fault, because there's a lot of guys going down, tons of injuries. I'm not sure what the epidemic is, but it's happening, and you're seeing it right now.
I know we've made this push for starters to go less innings, and then your relievers have them come in the game. A lot of openers. We saw the Rays obviously kind of started that off. But isn't there some point we have to get back to starting pitching is what ultimately wins championships, and have these guys go later in the ball games? Maybe we start to see an increase in pitch count throughout the course of these ball games.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I mean, I know it's old school thinking, but to me, there's nothing like starting pitching. I mean, I always believed in it as an executive. I believed in it as a player. It's just an important part of the game, and all you had to do is look at the Houston Astros last year and how much pitching depth that they had. And it's very rare when a team like the Tampa Bay Rays can do what they do, because they do have a ton of pitching. And a lot of big arms. They are one of the organizations that actually has, a surplus of pitching. Now, they have not developed a ton of starting pitchers, but they do have a lot of pitching, and they can back it up. But there's very, very few organizations that can do it.
Beautiful evening for JT Realmuto. First Philly to hit for the cycle since David Bell in 2004. Ninth player to hit for the cycle in Phillies history. Ninth since 1883, people. 17th catcher to hit for the cycle in Major League Baseball history. Fifth catcher this century to hit for the cycle. And when you look at Phillies players that have done it, and you go back, I've only been alive since 1960, Ben Davis. I know you think in 1975, but 1960. So you got Johnny Callison, Greg Jeffries, David Bell, and tonight JT Realmuto. And then before that, look at from 63 to 33, Chuck Klein did it twice. And that's in the 30s. My dad was one.
We've been talking about this forever. And JT, if anyone could do it, he's the guy to do it because he's got the pop, he's got the wheels, he uses the whole field, and that's a good park to do it in as well.
Yeah.
We saw a couple triples tonight. It's just the ball caroms. There's all different kinds of aspects of that fence out there. Ball could carom anywhere. JT didn't need it tonight. He was just hitting rockets.
So wipe that all clean. Is this a bad loss? Is this just a regular run-of-the-mill loss? Or when you turn a 5-1 lead into a 9-8 loss and you got guys on the pond ready to go to win this thing, how bad a loss is this tonight?
I think all losses are bad, Michael. But this one stung a little bit because of how hot they got off to a nice start off Tommy Henry. 5-1. And everything was just, you're thinking, this is great. This is smooth sailing from here on in. Strom was throwing the ball pretty good, and then all of a sudden they hit a wall, and Strom had to come out. It was just, you never like to blow a lead like that, but at that ballpark, especially with the roof open, I don't think I ever played a game there with the roof open, but it was tonight. The ball was flying, obviously. A lot of hits in this ball game, 25 of them to be exact. And it's an unfortunate loss because, again, the way that they lost. But they got to get someone else in here. They just can't keep doing this every fifth day, burning these guys out. And unless you have they have a very good bullpen, but there's some guys that have different roles. And if you're just bringing guys in just to eat up some innings, bad things can happen from time to time.
Back out to Arizona. Here's Rob Thomson postgame.
That was quite a game, wasn't it?
Not at all.
Where do you even start on that one?
Yeah.
Where do you want to start on that one?
How about start with JT?
Yeah, quite a night. Would you say first cycle
Since 2004.
Yeah, that's amazing. He's really swung about well tonight. Did a great job. Maybe a day off helped him. Yeah.
You just think off the bat there, Cody's ball had a shot at going, and maybe just one bending in the foul pole there.
Yeah, no, we thought it was fair, from our vantage point.
Yeah.
But obviously it was foul because
Yeah.
we checked upstairs. I came out just because I wanted to just see what transpired there because I couldn't see Jerry Lane, so I didn't know whether he originally called it foul or fair. And he said he called it. He came over after the game and said he called it fair, but he lost it, and so that's why they went to replay right away. And they confirmed it. By that time we had called up.
What'd you think of the whole third inning thing with Lovullo thinking you guys were
Well,
going to Carroll?
I can understand Torey protecting his guy, but in no way were we throwing it, trying to put one of the fastest guys in baseball on base with a free pass, basically. That's not me. That's not our club. We wouldn't do that.
What was he so mad at JT about?
I don't know.
So that's JT.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys go way back, right? You were
Yeah.
teammates together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think JT probably said, we're not throwing anybody. So.
You once had a 5-1 lead in this game. How disappointing was it that, I know this is difficult when you have the bullpen game, it's kind of, each guy's got to step up. How disappointing was it that you built that lead against a good team and weren't able to win?
Yeah, I think we did something similar to that last year, too, in the first game here. But, yeah, it's disappointing, but every loss is disappointing. But I really like the fight in our club. We kept coming and coming and coming. And Cody was a couple feet away from taking the lead there. So.
You had Vasquez up in the fourth for Carroll, presumably. Why didn't you go there?
Well, because once it was first base, 2 out, I figured, and plus the 2 right-handers are behind him. He ends up hitting a triple, but you're not counting on that. So, and then the second time we brought him in was first base, 1 out.
Right.
So now at that point, I felt like we needed to shut it down. And he came in after Marte, right?
Yeah, 6.
And Marte was out of pitches at that point, too.
Do you think the bullpen is starting to show like some wear and tear from the bullpen games?
Well, if we do, we'll make some changes, but we'll discuss what we need for tomorrow and see if we're okay for tomorrow.
When you got Kobe, you talked about him being a multiple inning guy, but it seems like you really can't count on him for more than an inning, maybe 2 at most. Does that hamstring you quite a bit, or no?
Well, and it's tough. He threw 2 days ago, I believe. Yeah. So we weren't counting on that much ball today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you pushed Strong a little bit too.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the most pitches he's thrown
Yeah,
since he
wow.
came out of the rotation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then that factors into because Kobe. I mean, you're not. I guess essentially it's like if you're doing a bullpen game, do you want someone who can give you more length? You think like in the middle there?
Usually, but we felt going into it that with Hoffman fresh, we could have, Marte had an off day yesterday. We knew we could get a couple from Vasquez. We knew we could get a couple from Covey. We knew we could get 2, maybe 3 from Strami. So we knew that we were good for this game.
Did Torey start yelling at you at one point too?
No.
He wasn't going
No.
at you. He was just
No.
He was at JT the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the umpires probably.
Do you have a problem with that, like a manager coming at a player? of yours?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't yell at another player.
Because he kind of his face. He came back, and then he came back again.
Yeah.
Harrison was okay. That was weird.
Yeah, he just kind of jammed his knee into the ground when he slid. So we're going to check him out.